Let's dive right into this urgent weather explainer. Right now, we are tracking a massive, dramatic, multi-front atmospheric shift across India. The India Meteorological Department has literally just issued a series of severe warnings, and things are moving fast. So let's break down exactly what's happening, where it's hitting the hardest, and how you need to prepare. Here is your severe weather breakdown. We're actively tracking 3 distinct but totally interconnected weather emergencies happening all at once. Yellow alerts up in the Himalayas, early monsoons down in Kerala, and severe heat waves baking the center. Section 1. Yellow alerts issued. The northern threat. Okay, starting up in the north, we're talking Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, and Uttarakhand. The main culprit here is a massive western disturbance. If you're not familiar, a western disturbance is basically the sweeping weather system that rolls in from the west. And when it slams into the upper reaches of North India, it brings incredibly heavy, unstable weather. In fact, the latest INSAT 3DS satellite imagery shows this giant spiral-shaped cloud mass just stretching right across these states. And when meteorologists actually look at that ISAN 3DS imagery, they're seeing dense, cold cloud tops just curling over the western Himalayas. The reports specifically call out, quote, bright white cloud bands. Now, what that actually means is towering thunderclouds with intense vertical development. Basically, it's a classic, highly dangerous signature of an active western disturbance colliding head-on with hot pre-monsoon air. So if you are living in or traveling through these northern regions, you need to be on high alert. These towering thunderclouds are capable of producing some incredibly destructive local conditions. You absolutely need to actively prepare right now for intense rainfall, really dangerous lightning strikes, localized hailstorms, and sudden violent gusty winds. Section 2. The Southern Front, an early monsoon. May 26th. You see, while the north is dealing with those violent thunderstorms, completely massive clusters of deep convective clouds are rapidly building over the Arabian Sea. Normally, we wouldn't expect the Southwest Monsoon to hit until June 1st, right? But the IMD is forecasting it to arrive around May 26th. If this massive system arrives on schedule, we are looking at one of the earliest monsoon entries we've seen in recent years. Now, you might be wondering, how do meteorologists actually know it's arriving early? Well, they're tracking some really undeniable signals. We're talking persistent, deep convective clouding near Kerala, strengthening westerly winds, and falling outgoing long-wave radiation. But crucially, the cloud patterns are showing a massive moisture transport, flowing straight from the equatorial Indian Ocean right into the Kerala coast. It's like a giant fire hose of moisture turning on early. So here is the timeline you need to be aware of. As of May 25th, a yellow alert is already active in Kerala. May 26th is the expected official onset date, but you really need to brace for the burst phase, which hits from May 28th to June 3rd. The IMD is warning of isolated heavy to very heavy rainfall during this window. This is when enormous quantities of moisture are just going to suddenly surge inland. Section 3, the Great Atmospheric Clash. So what is happening right in the middle of the country? Well, satellite imagery reveals a literal battle of the elements playing out in real time. On one side, you have this scorching, super dry continental air dominating central India, creating severe heat waves. And then on the other side, you've got these giant moist cloud shields churning over the Himalayas in the north and the Arabian Sea down in the south. And guys, these events are absolutely not happening in isolation. This extreme clash between blistering continental heat and surging moisture acts like a giant atmospheric engine. This collision is exactly what is actively fueling and amplifying those violent thunderstorms across northern India right this very second. India is currently trapped in a really violent transition period between peak summer and the early arrival of the monsoon. As these extreme atmospheric clashes unfold right in front of us, it leaves us with a really critical question to think about. What will these increasingly volatile and early atmospheric shifts mean for our broader changing weather patterns going forward? Stay safe out there, keep a really close eye on your local alerts, and thanks for relying on this explainer to keep you up to date on this urgent weather situation.
Right now, the Indian subcontinent is literally a massive real-time atmospheric battleground. Welcome to this urgent explainer. We're tracking an extreme weather collision unfolding across the country right this second. If you're in India, or, just tracking the weather patterns there, you've got to see this. We have these giant cloud shields churning at opposite ends of the nation, completely squeezing the center. So let's dive right into what the satellite data is showing us today. Based on the absolute latest updates and satellite imagery from the India Meteorological Department, the IMD, this is definitely not your standard seasonal shift. They are issuing severe warnings right now. Why? Because we're tracking a really violent, traumatic transition period between the peak summer heat and the arrival of the monsoon. The stakes are incredibly high across multiple states, and honestly, the satellite data tells a fascinating but pretty threatening story. I mean, just look at the sheer contrast happening at the extreme edges of the country. Up north, wrapping around the Himalayas, we've got these freezing, unbelievably dense cloud tops. But then, completely opposite to that, down south over the Arabian Sea, we're seeing these deep, tropical, rapidly building convective clouds. It's a total tale of two extremes, and they're simultaneously battering the subcontinent.
Okay, let's dive into this. Northern Alert, the Himalayan weather system.
The latest thermal infrared imagery from the INSAT 3DS satellite is showing us something wild over the upper reaches of North India. A massive western disturbance is actively sweeping eastward right across Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, and Uttarakhand. It's actually triggering IMD yellow alerts as we speak. This system is violently colliding with the hot pre-monsoon air that's already just sitting over North India. And well, when those freezing dense cloud tops hit that extreme heat, boom, you get towering thunderclouds with intense vertical development.
Because of these huge thunderclouds, residents up in the Himalayan states have got to prep for immediate, severe local impacts. We are talking intense rainfall, dangerous lightning strikes, localized hailstorms, and some seriously destructive wind gusts. Those bright white bands you see on the satellite, yeah, those are not to be taken lightly. They are pumping out highly unstable weather as they move east. Now whip-panning the map down, southern surge, the Arabian Sea, and Kerala. Down here, an entirely different but equally powerful weather story is rapidly building. Over the Arabian Sea, specifically around Kerala and Lakshadweep, we're seeing these massive clusters of deep clouds aggressively forming. Now, meteorologists typically look for three big indicators to confirm the Southwest Monsoon's arrival: persistent deep clouding, strengthening westerly winds, and something called falling outgoing long-wave radiation. And right now, the IMD says all these signals are rapidly falling into place, basically throwing massive amounts of moisture toward the Kerala coast.
Which brings us to a super important number, 26, as in May 26th. The IMD is forecasting that the monsoon onset is highly likely to drop around the state. Why is that a big deal? Well, the normal historical average is usually June 1st, so arriving on May 26th, that makes it one of the earliest monsoon entries in recent years, and the satellite imagery is absolutely backing up this accelerated timeline.
Let's move to and see how this builds. Central India, the heat wave catalyst.
We've hit the north, we've hit the south, but the middle of the country is acting like the ultimate catalyst. As the India Today Science Desk put it, and this is a great quote, "In the satellite image, this atmospheric battle is almost visible in real time." Just let that sink in. You can literally look from space and see a country caught right in the crossfire. You've got giant cloud shields churning over the Himalayas, massive monsoon clusters building in the south, and the entire center of the country is just trapped right in the middle of the whole shebang. And this brilliantly illustrates the clash. In central India, scorching continental air from a severe heat wave is acting as an explosive trigger. When that extremely hot, dry air slams into the incoming moisture from the northwestern disturbance and the south's monsoon surge, the result is violent. The clash of these massive air masses is literally feeding energy into the surrounding systems, fueling explosive, violent thunderstorm development right across the region.
So what's the schedule for all this? Timeline of weather impacts.
Here is exactly how this is progressing. Right now, May 25th, we are sitting right at the absolute peak of this atmospheric clash and the severe central heat wave. Tomorrow, May 26th, marks that likely early monsoon onset in Kerala, completely with yellow alerts for heavy rain. But pay close attention to the window from May 28th to June 3rd. The IMD is specifically warning of isolated heavy to very heavy rainfall across parts of Kerala. Meteorologists call this the burst phase of the monsoon. It's when the current dramatically strengthens and just dumps enormous sudden quantities of moisture inland.
So, what does this all mean? As India enters this incredibly dramatic transition between peak summer and an early monsoon, completely caught between these colliding weather systems, how will these extreme early shifts impact the rest of our summer? If the monsoon is arriving early and with such sudden, intense burst phases, what's that going to do to agriculture, to infrastructure, and to our daily lives in the months to come? It's a massive, urgent situation, and we've all got plenty to prepare for. Thanks for joining me for this Urgent Explainer. Stay safe, prep accordingly, and definitely keep a close eye on the skies.